Okay, on today's show, a £300 million pension payback to thousands of people, a universal credit scam warning, and a parliamentary block. Let's begin. The article says that TikTok will be banned from Parliament's devices and network in the latest ban imposed on the Chinese-owned social media app. The commissions of the House of Commons and the House of Lords have announced they will follow the move taken by the government on official devices, citing the need for cybersecurity. A Parliament spokesperson said that TikTok will be blocked from all parliamentary devices and the wider parliamentary network. Cybersecurity is a top priority for Parliament. However, we do not comment on specific details of our cyber or physical security controls, policies or incidents, they said. TikTok can still be used though on personal devices that aren't connected to Parliament's Wi-Fi network. Former Conservative leader Ian Duncan Smith welcomed the move but called for the ban to be extended on the personal devices of ministers. He tweeted, "The decision to block TikTok from all parliamentary devices is welcome and a good decision. And given this robust position in Parliament following the ban of TikTok from government phones, it is now time that TikTok is also banned from ministers' personal telephones. A similar decision has also been taken in Scotland, with TikTok banned from government phones and other devices." Of course, I don't know if it's just me, but I would have thought that MPs should, probably be getting on with their job rather than scrolling through TikTok all day on their mobile phones. But it begs the question, doesn't it? What is it doing on government devices in the first place? That's hardly work related, is it? Especially when they're being paid an annual salary of over £80,000. And not forgetting, of course, their personal expenses for the things they need to do their jobs. And I'm guessing, of course, they're, not on TikTok, that is. And whilst I do agree that it shouldn't be on government devices at all, I do think banning it from personal devices is going a bit too far, because even though TikTok is apparently a Chinese-made app, and therefore presumably are security risks around that, we ourselves do not live in China, and therefore people shouldn't be dictated on what they can and can't have on their personal devices. But that does not mean they can use those personal devices during work times. That's surely what the government and mobile phones, iPads, whoever else knows what, are meant to be used for. So in that case, of course, on the way to and from Parliament and during break times, as long as you're not on Parliament's Wi-Fi, MPs, then I don't have a problem with it. But let's face it, even though they do seem to act like 13-year-old children throughout most of the day in the House of Commons, they aren't that. So I'm pretty sure they can actually wait till they get home in the first place, can't they? I mean, my boss would go up the wall if I started taking out TikTok and going through it when I'm meant to be doing my job. So if he's got a problem and I can't do it at work, then you can't too, MPs. Unless, of course, it is your break. The article says that tens of thousands of pensioners have received a total of £300 million after being previously underpaid. Fresh figures released today have revealed that over 46,000 retirees have had payments returned after an error resulted in £1.46 billion being underpaid. That's quite a amount, isn't it? And the scale of the error left over 237,000 pensioners underpaid, according to the Department for Work and Pensions, the DWP. And of course, they have released the latest figures for its process in setting things right, but thousands are still owed money back. Helen Morrissey, Head of Retirement Analysis at Hargreaves Lansdowne, said the DWP is making progress in dealing with state pension underpayments, but there is still a mountain to climb. It is clear that this situation is just not going to be resolved anytime soon, and in the meantime, thousands of pensioners are getting less than what they are entitled to. Women renting under the old state pension system are those mainly affected, Helen added. These women have been let down on a gigantic scale and need resolution as soon as possible. Of the 173,538 accounts checked between January 11th, 2021 and February 28th, 2023, exactly 46,718 underpayments were identified. This means that £300.1 million in state pension underpayments were owed back. There's just absolutely no excuse for this at all, is there? Especially during the cost of living crisis, when any amount underpaid is surely going to affect people's lives. I mean, how hard can it actually be? You ask people to fill forms in, they do that, and then generate the amount that's being paid. Surely it can't be that hard to work out. And presumably, there would be some sort of test to make sure the computers were working right in the first place. So there's just no excuse for this at all. So not only is it of course right that people should be paid back as soon as possible, but I think interest should also be added. Thinking about it, what would happen if one of the claimants unfortunately died? I mean, what would happen to the money then? Would the government keep it, or would it get paid to the claimant's family? Because let's face it, the person was entitled to it. And I've got a feeling the government probably might end up keeping it. Although, I could be wrong. To be honest, I've got a feeling that quite a lot of these areas that often seem to pop up nowadays is because they try to improve the system and make it more efficient, when in fact it actually causes more problems than it resolves in most cases, I'm guessing. Especially, can you remember a few years ago when the whole universal credit was rolling out, replacing tax credits and all other benefits? We had stories about nothing but problems and delays and things like that to begin with, and apparently it's got a lot better now, but the government shouldn't be rolling out benefits like this, or anything else for that matter, until they work properly, and the same goes for legacy benefits and pensions and anything else. They should just work, shouldn't they? Especially if they've been going on for years and years and years. Because at the end of the day, people do rely on that money. I mean, we're not just numbers on a spreadsheet, government. So sort it out and start putting measures in place to make sure that something like this never happens again, no matter what the benefit is. Because let's face it, while it might be okay in your eyes if you make a mistake, I'm sure you'd soon clamp down on people if you thought they were in the wrong, wouldn't you? So I think the words "practice what you preach" comes to mind. It just makes you wonder what their excuse could be. Oh yes, I'm sorry. Quick, cancel the golden toilet order. Ooh. The article says that the DWP has warned those on universal credit and job seekers allowance to be wary when they receive a request for information. The DWP said, "Be fraud aware and protect your personal details at all times. Your information could be used by criminals to commit benefit and other fraud. The DWP may ask you to submit ID such as a passport, and we will always add a message to your journal to prove it is us. People should also be on the lookout for scams around energy bills, rebates, and the cost of living payments. With action fraud reporting scams such as these have been detected. A £900 cost of living payment is to go out to people on certain means tested benefits, including universal credit, over the coming financial year, and this will be paid in 3 instalments, with a first payment of £301 arriving in people's bank accounts in spring 2023. The money will be paid automatically, so people should be...
I will learn how to speak. I've only been doing it since I've been about 1.5, you know?
The money will be paid automatically, so people should be wary of any correspondence purportedly from the DWP which says they need to do something to claim the payment. Scammers often contact people pretending to be from a bank, organisations, to try and dupe them into sending over personal or banking information, and telltale signs of these may be messages including spelling or grammar mistakes, or if a message is from an unusual email address. Oh bloody hell, do you know what? I'm glad they told me that when they did. I was then about to photocopy my driving licence and hand it out to people in the street. But seriously though, if the person you're talking to on the phone says they need your details for whatever reason, if it is that serious, then just to ask them to send you a letter, because they shouldn't have any problem with doing that at all. Unless, of course, they are a scammer, in which case they probably would do. So I advise you in that case to give them the virtual middle finger down the phone. And also tell them that they smell for good measure. But if and when you do get that letter, of course, if the postman is on strike, then you can deal with it then, can't you? But it is quite annoying, isn't it? Because scammers do seem to be getting more and more sneaky over time, don't they? Just makes me wonder what they'll probably think of next. But if you do ever receive any texts or anything like that, forward them to 7726, because that's the official number who will deal with all that crap and hopefully close any dodgy businesses down so they don't affect any other people. It is good though how people are going to be getting a helping hand from spring, which I'm guessing is probably actually from April rather than March, because obviously we're near the end of the March and April is the start of the new tax year, so I'm guessing it'll more than likely be the end of April, maybe early May, before people get the first payment. But of course, I could be wrong. And yes, I know I've said it before, but always remember to be vigilant, because it is a scary world out there sometimes, which probably explains my girlfriend's old dating profile. But let's face it, quite a lot of the time, the problem is actually with the banks themselves, just like the ones in this video, which unfortunately could lead to an empty bank account. Anyway, subscribe for more and I'll see you in the next one.